Is the Gauteng province still experiencing a water crisis? How much has the El Niño phenomenon affected the province? Is the contravention of water restrictions a punishable offense? And why is Gauteng launching the SAVEWATER campaign? What time is it? It is question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. Joint efforts between the Gauteng Department of Human Settlements and Rand Water could see more water being conserved for next year following severe water shortages in the province. In an effort to alleviate the problem, the Department of Human Settlements, Co-operative Governance and Traditional Affairs is expected to launch the SAVEWATER campaign tomorrow. A reminder that this is a live program. Therefore, you can call us in area of use. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210. Our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. My guest today, Jacob Mamabolo, is the Gauteng MEC for Human Settlements and Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, and as well as our resident, Tsietsi Munari, is a meteorologist. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let me start with the Sanusi. How bad are things? I mean, the other day it was hot. I mean, really, really hot. And then all of a sudden it's raining. We are about to celebrate. And then we're told, wait.
Yeah.
Not as yet.
Yeah. Well, I take it from a geographical and meteorological stand of view. You mean how bad is the drought? How bad is the heat? How bad is, the flooding that we've been getting and so forth? It's looking pretty rough. If you think about the situation that we've been going through, I mean, we've been having serious fluctuations. Yes. Sometime in November, we had snow, in the beginning of November, in the Eastern Cape province, and people were wondering, smack bam in the middle of summer, what's going on? And also, most of the forecasts have been indicating that we're not going to see a lot of rainfall up until maybe next year, February or March.
Yes.
Which is still good, which is still true. Not good, it's true, because what we've been seeing now is your normal thunderstorms, which are pretty quick, and the runoff also goes by really fast, so the water does not really last, it doesn't stay. And the rainfall is also not substantially enough to say we've moved away from the drought that we experienced over the last couple of days. In terms of how really bad it is, globally it's quite, a severe impact in terms of the El Niño that is taking place, which can mostly be directed to or be the result of all of these environmental phenomena that we're going through. Is because of the El Niño that we're experiencing, which is about one of the most severe ones that has happened in the last since 1996 and 97.
Yes, almost 20 years.
Almost 20.
But what is it? At what stage are we? Are we now in a rainy season, or are we still in a drought?
Yeah. If you look at, okay, I nearly just jumped the gun there in terms of rainy season and the drought. The rain has really not come in such quantities that we can say it has alleviated what we went through over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
No, not yet. And the forecasts indicate that there will probably be more hot conditions and drought conditions in the middle of December, or as we begin December. So we are not 100% safe and out of it yet. We still need the persistent rain. That's what we need. We need a lot more rain to come through in a continuous way. 10 days in a row, or something like even more, 15 days. Yeah, that's basically what we need. We cannot do with any more high temperatures, and we cannot deal with long spells without rainfall.
But are you seeing any more severe weather in the coming weeks?
Yeah. If you, I don't know if you've noticed the weather reports of late that there's been severe thunderstorms forecast for places such as Gauteng, the Northwest Province, even the southern parts of Botswana, going towards the Limpopo Province. But that does not necessarily mean that's good rain and that's good news. As I mentioned earlier on, that's basically the really quick flowing rainfall. It comes within 45 minutes and it's gone. You see these dark clouds and the strong winds, the instability that come with it. And the rainfall basically just lead to a bit of erosion. And you've seen how a lot of our residential areas have been affected, walls been turned down, broken up and so forth, and trees bent into the highways. Yeah, so the forecast is there that we expect, especially over the weekend as well, starting tonight, tomorrow, as well as over Saturday. We're expecting some of those in similar areas like the Gauteng, the Northwest, and Limpopo provinces. So it's still going to be there. In effect, in a sense of how long that will last is something that we're also not very sure about. But yeah, the forecast indicates some severe conditions are still ahead.
MEC, not good news. Are you ready?
First, thanks very much for the opportunity. I must say on behalf of the provincial government, we are very much pleased that it has rained, and we welcome the rain because it relieves the water supply system from pressure. Because if there's no rain, everybody goes to the tap, and that places a huge strain on the water supply system. So we welcome the rain. We wish more rain. But we're still working on the predictions made that the fact that it has rained doesn't mean we are out of the problem as yet. So that is why tomorrow we will be launching the campaign to save water. This is a water conservation campaign which we call the #SaveWater.
Yeah.
And that's precisely because over the past years, our country and of course the province, we have relaxed a lot. We have never understood the significance of conserving and preserving water and using water sparingly. And that's why it's never late to do it. And that's why I would want to make sure that based on the forecasts that are made, but the reality that Gauteng province doesn't have water. We source our water from outside the province. So it's very much critical that we work very hard as residents of Gauteng to preserve, conserve, and use water better. But at this level, just to answer your question directly, our water levels, last time I checked this week, were about at around 53%. That's the storage capacity that we have. The ideal is to be above 80%.
Yes.
So in one way, whilst we're guaranteeing water supply consistently and across, but we need to pump and preserve the water levels to a comfortable level. And that will be anywhere ideally above 80%.
But it is said that although, I mean, we don't have control over, the source of water itself, but Gauteng, its infrastructure is outdated and needs a lot of repairing to do. So, which means that, we're also losing water through man-made reasons.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Remember that historically, the infrastructure to pump, to store, to clean or treat water, it's an infrastructure that would have been put in place without anticipating first political changes, massive movement of people into Gauteng. Some of the infrastructure that we are using now is infrastructure that was planned for the old Transvaal, and it had never anticipated most of the problems that we have. That's why Rent Water, which is responsible for our core water supply infrastructure in Gauteng, when we met with them on Monday in the Water and Sanitation Forum in the province, they made a pronouncement that they've got plans in place, and they've said to us 2016, the first quarter of the financial year end in June, they would have put some capacity to improve infrastructure to pump more liters into the system. Then we have got infrastructure that goes into municipalities. Our province is on average losing water at a percentage of about 26%.
Okay.
In many parts of the world, internationally, many countries, if they lose 2%, it's a national problem. It's a big issue. In our country, in our province, we're around 26%. It's a huge percentage. Okay. So that's why part of the campaign seeks to deal directly with water losses.
Okay. Tsedu, I want to release you and remain with the politician to talk about politics of human settlement. What should our viewers anticipate in the next 24 hours?
In terms of the weather, in terms of the rainfall, and what we're hoping for is that there'll be viewers should look out and be ready for more thunderstorms to come through, more hail. You know, be prepared, especially for the amount of water that is coming in a short period of time.
Okay.
You know, that's what we all need to look out for. And if you can, you know, when it comes to saving water, fixing every single thing that you need to fix in your house, such as your leaks, and also any rain capture mechanisms that you might have, unblock those and make sure those are working properly. Water harvesting, exactly.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mpho.
Alrighty, we're taking a quick break and we're letting Tsetsi go. Remain with the MEC. The number to dial 089 110 4210. This is Question Time.
Get all the latest news from the SABC's online news services on our website. Breaking news and in-depth coverage of everything from business, sports to politics and lifestyle. Catch the top news clips and watch live streaming of major news events on the SABC News YouTube channel whenever. Stay connected on the SABC News Facebook page and have your say on news that matters to you. And for the latest headlines and live updates from our reporters, follow us on Twitter. SABC Digital News, anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. Our guest today, Jacob Mamabolo, is the Gauteng MEC of Human Settlements and Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Tony, you're calling us from Pretoria. Welcome.
Thank you, Mpho.
You're welcome.
Yes, I want to ask Mr. Mamabolo, does our government prioritize maintaining infrastructure? Do they really take maintaining infrastructure serious? Because there are a lot of leakages, you know, everywhere you go, there's a lot of water on the streets. And,
yes.
you know, it seems they don't make a priority to maintain infrastructure. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me see.
Well, first, let me agree that the issue of water leakages, it's a big problem. You'll recall that in the last 2 months, President Jacob Zuma went to Port Elizabeth to launch a campaign that basically declared war against water leakages.
Yes.
That tells you that government as a whole has acknowledged and appreciated the negative impact of water leakages. Part of the hashtag SAVEWATER campaign that will be launching tomorrow, top on the list, it's exactly to follow the lead that President Jacob Zuma gave us. We will be making sure that in our province, we wage not just the once-off, consistent campaign against water leakages. So the point is, we all agree on that issue. And of course, as I said, infrastructure, maintenance, it's a big issue. Okay. I think one thing that I would like to add just for our viewers is that our infrastructure has been founded on a basis that did not anticipate factors that would impact on water demand and water consumption. And that's why it's unable to cope. And I think as government, we have understood that. If you look at one of the biggest programs of government, the biggest investment government is doing now, trillions of rands, they are on infrastructure. Actually, our economy currently is propelled by government's commitment to drive infrastructure investment. And that's why when you move in many parts of the country, you see massive investment in improving and sustaining infrastructure.
Okay, the numbers to dial, 089-110-4210, our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24, and we're taking your calls if you've got a question, a comment to make to the MEC. He's here with us, and we'll be taking your calls there. Those are the numbers, they'll remain there on screen. And let's just go through to our tweets and see what the viewers are saying there, MEC. Perhaps you can then respond to that. Khahudi Amos says, the Honorable, how is the water shedding plan going to be implemented in informal settlements as there isn't regulation? Radibolo Dik says, is South Africa prepared to work with Israel in solving the water crisis? Israel was a desert, but is now flourishing, okay? And then Nati Ngobo Mapoloba says, why not purify the oceans? Okay, well, we'll take that. Let's deal with those, MEC.
Let me start with the question on regulating water supply, what you call water shedding. On Monday, we had a meeting with all stakeholders in the province that are having the line function of water supply, being rent water being one of them. And what we have agreed upon was, in the light of this, and of course the significance of the challenge at hand, rent water will be monitoring water supply, and it will check if there's a need to stop supply or cut supply, particularly in high water consumption area. It will do that. But we have also agreed that at this point, we have not yet reached that stage. Okay. Some people may not be aware, and he's talking about informal settlement. Actually, last week, Wednesday, in the evening between 10 and 5, there was water cut in Sandton, and most people may not be aware of that. So where a need arises, and it's not about informal settlement, it's actually depend on the facts at hand. Okay. Yeah, so that matter, we're looking at it. There's another one that
hold it there. Let's take Roy, and then we'll go back to those tweets. Roy, you're calling us from around Gauteng as well?
Hi, Mpho.
Hi, good afternoon.
I'm fine, man. Yes. Let me see. I just heard you on the percentage of 2% and the 20-something that we're losing in the Gauteng province alone. I just want to check on the conference that on the mini conference, media conference we had with the MMCs, Rainwater, and the minister. Would it be possible maybe for just maybe to not even go for this 2%, no leakage at all? Have these CDWs people to help us in making sure, together with councillors, that no leakage in their ward up until we win this the battle of water leakage.
Thank you very much, Roy. CDWs joining the fight.
Yes. Let me say, just to clear the issue of the percentage, I said that on average, our municipalities, all of them combined, in terms of water losses, we are averaging 26%. So I just wanted to make that point. Tomorrow, the launch of the hashtag SAVEWATER campaign will be launched we have invited ward councillors, and we have agreed in the press conference we had on Monday that ward councillors at a ward level, because the campaign we're launching is it's a mass education campaign. Yes. Ward councillors will be the champion of the campaign. We have also invited community development workers, CDWs. CDWs are the representatives of government that do door-to-door engages communities. We have invited them together. So these two key players, together with the rest of us, are going to be the motive forces or the main people leading and driving the mass education campaign, distributing pamphlets, talking to people, and saying, gone are the days when we can use water as if we are not a water-scarce country. So what he's saying is right. It's exactly what we'll be doing. And I can say to the people of Gauteng, please help us drive the message. Let's have the awareness. Let's accept that we are a water-scarce province. And this has got nothing to do with any politics. It's about human life. So what councillors, CDWs, but on their own, they can't carry the message sufficiently. Sure. So we'll be working with everybody, and I think the point is spot on. That's what we're doing, and I think he has hit it right on the head.
Okay, the numbers to dial 089-110-4210, and the Twitter handle at QuestionTime24, 089-110-4210. That is. Now, MEC, last week, you know, it wasn't just a week of, you know, high temperatures and all that, but there were fires as well in the informal settlements, 3 or so already. And I saw you walking around in Msawawa there, and you're saying government is going to come to the aid of people who lost their belongings there. What sort of help is government coming up with there?
Yes, you're absolutely right, because, and I was making a bit of a joke about, it's not a matter to joke about, that, yes. You know, in the period before the rain, Monday, and we were battling with fires.
Yes.
And now the rain comes, and it has put on our doorstep as the provincial government, floods and roofs have been blown by the wind. So we have a concurrence of water and fire, which themselves don't meet and are too extreme, but we having to manage both of them at the same time. Having said that, right in Msawawa, when I was coming here, I received feedback because we are monitoring the situation on the ground, yes, as the provincial government. There's an urgent need, which we have acknowledged and appreciated, to support people that are rebuilding their shacks, provide them with material, with labor, to make sure that they are able to rebuild their shacks. Of course, we had to make a proper analysis, check who has lost whose shack has burned, register them, be sure, because we didn't want to just dish out material and pipes. So both in Msawawa, Kayasend, in Cleveland, Jumpers, we are on the ground trying to help people restore their situation back to before the fire outbreak.
Enver, you are also in Gauteng. Welcome.
Good evening. I'd like to ask the MEC,
yes,
when last was our dams dredged?
Okay. Well, he didn't get the question. When were they last dredged?
Dredged, yeah. You know, when they go and they put the machines in and they take out the salt and the sand that has flowed into the dams from the rivers.
Okay.
When last was that ever done? Because if the salt and the sand flows into the rivers, into the dam volume is not 80%, because there's a certain percentage of salt in there.
Okay.
And normally they used to dredge the dams and take out that sand and sell it as river sand.
Okay, Enver, I would suspect you have knowledge of that business. What do you know? Has it been long since they did that?
I don't believe it's been ever done.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And hence me asking, you know, because without that being done, the rivers, the dams is just full.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I think what he's saying, it's engineering technology. I'm not so sure if you would know, MEC.
You know, the good thing about public participation is that we also get educated and we learn. And as long as there's opportunity to interact with the people, our level of knowledge becomes far much better. One of the things we have agreed with the team on Monday, we took a decision that tomorrow we are launching, next week, we are visiting the rainwater infrastructure, the core infrastructure.
Yes.
So next week we are in Sidibeng. We want to see for ourselves. We want to interact with the workers that are working on site. We want to hear what the issues are. So in that sense, now I've learned a very important point.
Yes.
And tomorrow I'm at rainwater. And next week we are visiting the site. So I feel very much empowered that I actually know now what are some of the things that we're looking for, because the supply side of water supply, the supply side of a water system is very much important. What is raising is about maintenance and whether we're taking care of the system. And I think when we go there, this is the first question I'll ask. how much sand do you have, and how much space does it take from water,
Yes.
and what percentage does it reduce of the level of water that we could keep in. So what he's saying is that our dams are full of almost sand competing with water.
Yes.
So we need to check that.
Well, as we close, MEC, I know that you're saying you're going to assist people rebuild their lives, those who have lost property and all that in the informal settlements. But the problem is, in some of these informal settlements, they are so informal that it becomes even a problem for you as government to access those areas whenever you have to provide services, including fire extinguishing. Is the setup now going to be a little well managed and systematically managed?
Yes, absolutely. I think you've raised a profound question, very important, because just yesterday briefly I was in another informal settlement which is not affected by fires.
Yes.
In Mansonville, it's called Pangoville, or others call it Mshengoville. What I saw in that informal settlement is that it is not as densified. The point you're raising is congestion, densification, the shacks being so close to each other. So what I saw there in Pangoville as compared to Msawawa and Jumpers is that they are still a little bit far from each other.
Okay.
But you can see a trend of selling the open spaces, and we can have congestion. But we do have a plan to de-densify and deal with congestion.
Let me say, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but good luck and hashtag SAVEWATER.
Please support hashtag SAVEWATER. You can already buy a JoJo tank and store a lot of water right here at the SABC.
Okay.
Yes.
That was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.